If you're a salon or spa owner working nonstop, barely paying yourself, and terrified to step away because it might all fall apart, you're not alone. Most salon and spa owners were never taught the business side of this industry, and that makes it feel impossible to get ahead. Welcome to the station, where we give you the structure, systems, and strategies to step into the CEO seat and lead like the legend you are. Hey friends, welcome back to the station, the podcast where beauty pros stop second guessing their leadership and build a salon that runs smoothly from open to close without burning them out. I'm Bree, founder of the Beauty Biz Agency, and as always, I've got my amazing co-host, co-founder, and bestie here with me. Hey Chandra, how are you?
Hello, doing good. It's a good day today, so doing great.
Awesome. I mean, after yesterday, I'm hoping today was a good day because yesterday got me good.
It's crazy, but yes.
I want to talk about something that I think is going to be really, really important for a lot of commission salon owners out there. Let's just say that you've got 4 chairs and 4 stylists in your salon. Everything's smooth, right? Until one person maybe calls in sick, somebody takes a vacation, somebody gives their notice. Suddenly, you have a schedule that is a mess. Clients aren't able to get in, and your revenue is going to take a major hit. It's a situation that most salon owners don't really plan for because on the surface, it looks like the salon is just fully staffed. It's great. Everybody's doing well. But the minute that somebody's out, the entire system falls apart. That to me is when the panic kind of starts to set in. I have been in this situation myself. You either try to hire too fast, you start stretching yourself too thin, right? Or worse, you jump back behind the chair and you try to carry the entire business all by yourself once again. So this episode is going to be about how we build a schedule system that really protects you from all of this happening. One that is going to give you flexibility, full day coverage, and really a whole lot more peace. And no, it does not require like purchasing a bigger building, adding more square footage, no more chairs. It's just about having a smarter structure. Before we get into how we can build the system together, I want to share a quick story from one of our amazing BBA members because this situation actually happened to her and it hit her salon really, really hard. And the solution that we gave her kind of changed everything. So a few months back, one of our members joined her one-on-one call and she was feeling just completely defeated. Not because her team wasn't doing a good job, they were, but because every time somebody called in sick or took a vacation, like I said earlier, her revenue would nosedive. I mean, we're talking $10,000, $12,000 a month that it was being hit. And she said to Chandra and I'm not overwhelmed by the work that I have to do. My team is great. They're doing good things. We're setting up, systems and structure, but I'm overwhelmed by the fact that one missing shift wipes out an entire day's income. That's terrifying. On paper, everything looks solid to you guys. I understand. I said this for so long. I had 4 chairs, right? She had 4 chairs. She had 4 stylists. When everyone was there, they're hitting their goals. You're hitting your revenue goals. They're hitting their benchmarks. Everything's going as planned. The problem is all 4 stylists were working the same exact shift. That's a problem. So anytime somebody was out, that chair was going to sit empty. And that's a big, big issue to have. Guests had fewer options to book. Weekends and evenings turned into this toss-up of who's even going to be here, who's even going to work, right? Because nobody wants to work certain times or dates or any of that. So you try to accommodate everyone and end up not accommodating your clients the way that you need to. And then I feel like that pit in your stomach, it just grows heavier and heavier and everything's weighing on your shoulders. Anyways, she thought that her result or her answer was to do something more with marketing, right? It was a marketing problem, which we all tend to do. We tend to throw everything into marketing. But what she really needed was a system to give her good coverage or better coverage. So we implemented what we call the Salon Shuffle. Yes, kind of corny, but it works, right? So we hired 4 additional stylists, 1 more for each chair that she had, and built out 2 defined shifts. So one for the morning and one for the evening. Now each chair has two stylists that's assigned to it, and every station is covered from open to close. Within 2 weeks, everything started changing for her. There was no more panic when somebody got sick. There was no more revenue dips. Her weekly revenue actually jumped by over 25%, and her profitability climbed by 15%. And she told us that for the first time in a long time, she didn't start her mornings with anxiety. I relate to this so much because she knew that her floor was going to be covered no matter what happened. Chandra, you and I know so many salon owners still believe that every single stylist deserves and needs their own home base, right? Their own designated station. But that kind of thinking, it can cost commission salon owners thousands of dollars. Why do you think so many owners hold on to that idea, even when it is drastically hurting their business?
I mean, I think one of the things that keeps them there is they're thinking from a stylist mindset, not from the owner mindset, right? And they're thinking, well, if I was behind the chair, I want to have my own station, or they're not thinking about it from the business perspective. And I think that that's one big issue why they get stuck there. And I think that they also try to please everybody all the time. And they're like, well, let me make sure that they have this and all these things. And you can still have a setup that way, but I think when you sometimes designate those chairs like that, gives them that entitlement. And I think it's good sometimes to move them around a little bit or have them try, splitting their chair or doing those different things. It changes your culture and it makes it more collaborative and less solo mentality.
I agree with that 100%. Here's the deal. If you only ever hire exactly as many stylists as you have chairs or stations, 5 chairs, 5 people, you are literally one call out away, one vacation away from losing a huge chunk of income. That is the reality of the situation. You're going to be just like I was, just like this BBA member was, right? And if one or two employees leave at the same time, you're going to find yourself in a real big pickle because this is what happened to me. Empty stations, they cost you money every single hour. And those gaps, they send your profits into this tailspin that sometimes you can't recover from for a very, very long time. So many owners out there, they think the answer is just to expand their square footage or maybe even open a second location. But all that is going to do is raise your overhead and honestly give you more work as the owner, more rent, more expenses, and oftentimes less profitability. You have to keep that in mind. Not all of us have the luxury of working in an 8,000 or 10,000 square foot space. We just don't. I actually started in a salon that was under 2,000 square feet, way under 2,000 square feet, by the way. And I didn't have the option to add any stations or chairs. So I had to get creative with the space that I had. That's when this salon shuffle kind of system came into place. So instead of matching one stylist to one chair or jumping into this bigger space or doing any of those things, I had to double my roster. I knew it was the only option that I had. Each chair now had two dedicated stylists, right? The best way to set this up, guys, is by creating 2 shifts. Do it simple. A morning shift, let's say 9 to 3, and an evening shift, 3 to 9. Make it super dumbed down, super simple, easy, easy. This setup is just going to give you more employees, which is going to lead to more revenue and ultimately is going to give your business more stability. That is what all of us should want as business owners. When you implement a system like this, you are guaranteeing coverage from open to close every single day that your salon is operating. Think about it. If each station is booked just 2 extra hours per day, you are talking about an extra $200 to $400 per chair per day minimum. That is thousands of dollars a month and tens of thousands of dollars a year. Literally, Andrew, it makes my stomach turn knowing that I missed out on that kind of revenue for so many years in my own business. It kills me when I think about it. Did you ever struggle with this issue?
Definitely. Yeah. We had that, and we weren't always the best about making sure we staggered them when they wanted vacations, and we'd give three or four of them a vacation all at the same time, and then we'd be scrambling and short on revenue that month. And so I have definitely experienced this.
And here's the thing though, it's not just great for revenue, right? It's also a huge selling point when you're hiring. The more your business brings in, the more you can give back to your team. Maybe that's bonus structures, better education, paid time off, higher commission, whatever it is. There's so many things. But it also gives your team flexibility with their schedules. And let's be real, flexibility, it is one of the main reasons so many people go booth or suite rental, period. While this doesn't let them pick maybe their exact schedule, it does give them options, and options are going to build loyalty within your culture and within your business. So let's just take it a step further so you can understand. You don't just need to fill chairs, you have to fill time. This is where your mindset has to shift because that's the real key. For example, let's just say that you have 7 stations and 7 stylists. That's how you've been operating for the last 5 years, right? That might look good, but you have to start breaking things down and really see how much revenue you're losing, right? Because in reality, you are underutilizing your space big time. Big time. If you're only running 1 shift per day, you are leaving a massive amount of revenue untouched. 7 stations, if they are structured well, can support up to 16 to 22 stylists if you schedule the system correctly. It's not about crowding the space, it's just about maximizing those hours of operation. Chandra, why is this so important aside from just revenue and flexibility?
Well, I mean, I think there's a lot of reasons why it's important to do that, but I think one of the reasons besides those things, because that's what comes to my head first, is just also it builds that team morale. Like I think everybody works more collaboratively together. I think it kind of creates that camaraderie because they're sharing a station and they're used to working together in that way and having to learn how to do that. And I think like for us, it makes a big difference in how they work together and how they show up because they know like, we could just hire someone else. So it's like we just have to fill that time and fill that space. And I think when you start looking at it from that mindset of I have to book this time, how much money is each hour costing me? It really helps you flip that to realize there's a lot of benefits to that, to switching to that like model. It's definitely, I think, better in the long run, not only for your revenue, but for your team, just overall for the extra benefits and things you can provide.
Yeah, and we definitely can't get into this like super in depth because we only have so much time on here, but there are so many things. I talked earlier about hiring. This is really a big deal because think about it, those stylists who have kids that are in school. So maybe they want to work the morning shifts and get off early, right? You've got the young ones that don't want to get up early and they would rather work the late shift. And so it does give you more options to offer aside from just more education, pay time off, those types of things. So really think about it. I didn't realize how well this was going to go over in my salon when I first created it. I do want to put a small disclaimer in here. If you have newer stylists or newer artists, you definitely want to set expectations if you're implementing something like this, because in order for them to build, you guys are smart. You know that they need to be there certain days of the week and certain times of the day. Evening in my area is a great time for younger stylists to build or newer stylists. So you might want to put those expectations in there where they need to be there, at least 1 evening per week, 2 evenings per week, whatever that is. And then maybe every Saturday in the beginning for sure. But that can be a perk that you offer later on, right? Your upper stylist can have every Saturday off or every other Saturday off. So there's a lot of ways that you can go about it. Let's talk about how you can kind of figure this out in your studio really quickly. You want to look at how many hours your salon is open per day. You want to set your morning and evening shifts or whatever you want to call them, and then multiply your number of stations by 2 so that you can reflect both of the shifts that you're putting into place. Then you are going to divide that by the average number of days that your stylist work. So let's just say if most of your team works 4 days a week, like mine does, I don't let my team work more than 4 days per week. That means your business can likely support way more stylists than you ever thought were possible without having to do anything else, right? When you use your space intentionally like this, you are creating more profit, more security, more flexibility for you and for your team. It's a no-brainer. And all of that only works when you know your numbers and you follow your business data consistently. You have to do this. So you need to break down every single number in your business. Chandra, they need to know what? We always say their cost per
Mhm.
hour, right? They need to know all of these things because it's going to be really, really important to see how much money you're able to make. And then you're going to have to get into setting KPIs, benchmarks, and those types of things for your business and your team. And it's going to work a little bit differently than when they are all there, open to close every single day. Things just change. So you're really going to have to get into the nitty gritty of it. We do have a free resource on this that you guys can grab, but I think there's one more shift that most salon owners need to make, and they need to make it fast. The idea that every stylist needs their own chair, we brought it up earlier, but it's got to go away. They don't need it. And I think it's outdated, in all honesty. It's very, very expensive. And I think that kind of thinking is just going to limit your growth more than almost anything else, right? I hear a lot about this nomad type stations, where people kind of move around. And I think that's great. But this salon shuffle is a little different because you're setting it up different. Chandra, explain the difference in the nomad and then the salon shuffle.
Well, I mean, I think the nomad is sort of where they just come in and they pick any open station, right? Like they keep their stuff somewhere else, they unpack it, they put it in the station, and then they go for wherever for the day. And I think with the salon shuffle, they're at least having like a specific kind of home in a way, but they are sharing it. Like they can put their stuff there, or they're always going to be in the sort of the same area, but they're splitting that chair with someone else. So I feel like, either way, I think can kind of work. But I think that would be, I mean, what I would say probably the two biggest differences in those models would be.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I just wanted to make sure that we kind of showed the difference in that because I don't want people to get it confused. Now, you can use the Nomad with the Salon Shuffle 100%, right? But you definitely have to make sure that you have those shifts labeled out and things of that nature. And you don't just have to create two shifts. If you've got a bigger space, you've got a bigger team, you've got things that you can do, you can create three shifts in there. There are plenty of ways that you can make this work for you, your business, and your team. And really, you have more opportunity, I think, to make everyone happy. Not that we're trying to people please, but everybody knows how this industry is right now. And so we do have to do things a little bit different. I would like to hear from you, Chandra. When a salon owner finally stops building their business around their chairs or their stations, and they start building it around time, around coverage, around actual capacity, what do you think the biggest thing is that changes not only for the owner, but for the business itself?
Well, definitely the revenue is going to change, but I think just your culture and your mindset are going to change, because I think when it comes to, thinking about it from that perspective, you're going to think more from a business owner standpoint, and you're actually going to start looking at your numbers in a different way. You're going to start running your business in a little bit more of an efficient way that's for profitability. And I think for the business as a whole, that's going to change, kind of having those benefits, having those perks for your team, giving them more flexibility with schedule, and knowing you can still bring in that money is going to give you that peace of mind. Plus, they will see the perks, even if there's nothing specific, just the fact that the business has more stability is going to definitely be a boost for your team. So I think those things for sure. I know for us, like when we started this model, it was tricky. Like we have stylists that were like, this is my space, because originally we had it where they all had their own space, and they would have like a panic attack if we moved them around. And we do it a little bit differently. We have so many people that want to work a full day shift, like a 10-hour day shift, a 12-hour day shift, because they'd just rather do 2 or 3 days a week and be done, and have the other days off. And so we'll actually rotate the days of that chair. And so I think there are a lot of different ways you can set it up, and they love the schedule. So for whatever works for your culture and your business, changing to this format in some way, shape, or form, I think is going to be really good for your business and for you as well, because you won't be stressed out about money so much.
Well, that's kind of what I was thinking right there. And I think this is the biggest thing. And, people get so mad at me for saying this all the time, but this is going to allow you, as the owner of your business, to be able to step out from behind the chair a little bit easier and a little bit sooner because you are bringing in more revenue. You are capitalizing on the capacity that you actually have. And I don't care how much you love doing hair. Your job, first and foremost, is to be the CEO of your business. Then you have the option if you want to do hair, right? You've got to make sure that you're running that business first. You're leading that business. You're leading that team. And then if you choose, go behind the chair another day or 2 days. But you need to get out from behind it to get everything in order first. Okay, I started talking about how you can roll this out in your own business, and then I got sidetracked. So let's go through this really, really quickly. Step number one, you want to look at your current schedule. So pull maybe last month's booking report and look at it maybe hour by hour. Where are the gaps? Where are you slammed and maybe turning clients away? When are stations actually sitting empty? That's going to kind of show you exactly where you need more consistent coverage. For me, I noticed that I had one station sitting empty all the time because the same freaking employee was calling out sick all the time or not, going on vacations. And yes, I did not run my business correctly. That's why I was failing in every way possible. But it definitely opened my eyes. So that's something you want to look at. Step number two, decide your shifts. Set 2 core shifts for your team, 3 core shifts. Do it like Chandra does, whatever is going to benefit you the most. I recommend starting out easy, maybe just 2 shifts. This is going to give you full coverage from open to close without overloading any one stylist. Remember, the goal is to have 2 stylists per chair, one working mornings, one working evening, or whatever that looks like. Here's the thing, burnout is a word in this industry anymore. You are not going to find stylists like Chandra does that wants to work 10 plus hours. It is very, very rare. She's lucky, but it's very, very rare. Most of these people don't want to work more than 20 hours a week anymore. So you can't let that affect your business revenue and profitability. You have to figure out a way to make that up. Step number 3 is build out your Salon Shuffle chart. So create a visual schedule for your back room, your break area, wherever you want to put it, days of the week across the top, morning and evening shift down the side, fill in each stylist name and station assignment, make it simple and clear. This is just going to help you see things so that you can actually plug new hires or wherever you need hires into that area. Step number 4, kick it off with your team. Even if you are not hiring yet, kick it off, right? Get that change for the team that you have now so that you can start bringing new people in. Host a team huddle, explain what's changing, exactly why it's changing. Maybe just say something like, this isn't about control, because that's going to be their first thought. This is about making sure that we never have empty chairs and that our guests are taken care of from open to close. It gives you predictable hours and it helps the salon run like it's supposed to. You want to be real with them. They need to understand at the end of the day, it is a business and that you're not raking in all of the money that they think you are. Your team members are going to respect honesty, and it's time for you to be open and honest with them. Step number 5 is test it out and then make adjustments. I had to make several adjustments when I first implemented this. Run it for maybe a week, then check in with your team. Ask what's working, what felt weird. Be open to small tweaks. Be open to a bit of criticism. Don't expect perfection overnight, but don't let it stay messy either. If something needs tweaked, get it done, figure it out, because the longer that you let it look messy, the more it's going to hurt you in the long run. Once you finally figure out what's going to run smooth for you, document it and then make it a part of your SOP process. That is huge. So that way, when you hire new people or whatever you're doing, they know exactly what's expected, exactly how it works, and there is no gray area in between. This system, it doesn't just give you the coverage, right? It gives you back control, even though that's not what it's about when it comes to your team. It lets your business keep running even when life happens. And you guys know as well as I do, life happens constantly. Chandra, when a salon owner, when they finally see their day kind of split into maybe 2 clean shifts, right? Every chair has somebody on it or in it from open to close. It really is going to change the game for everybody out there. What do you think actually surprises the owners the most once they actually start running a system like the Salon Shuffle, aside from the revenue and profitability increase?
I mean, I think that it actually does work. And I think that they actually can make this work for them. I think there's a lot of reservations about doing these kinds of changes in the salon. And so I think once you put that in place, you'll be completely surprised that it works. There may be some growing pains and bumps in the road, but once you get it ironed out and your team gets used to it, you'll be so much better off. And I think that's the biggest thing, is just that it actually works.
Yeah, I think for me, one of the biggest things is salon owners seeing that their team actually likes it better. They actually do when they get used to the change, it takes, like you said, a little bit, but the team actually enjoys it better. Their work-life balance is better as well. It really changes the mindset and everything inside of your studio, and it does help with your culture quite a bit as long as you hire the right people that are aligned with your business and your vision, right? All right, let's shift gears and get into our listener question real quick. This one comes from Erica in Michigan, and she asked, what's the best way to handle it when a stylist leaves and they take a whole bunch of clients with them? Chandra, go for it.
Gosh, I don't know if I always handle this correctly, but I've had this happen. Not a ton in all the years that I've had my salon, but I mean, for me, I think the biggest thing that is we do what we can to recoup as much of the clients as we can. We call them, we get ahead of it, we try to book them with someone else. We try to make sure that, we can get them in and keep them as much as we can. I also think that having that guest journey in place is a huge, huge part of it, because even if they leave, we've had that happen where they've left and tried their stylist that they followed, and then they came back because that experience was not the same anymore. And that's definitely what they were used to and what they loved. And so, and honestly, like in my opinion, I don't have a lot of animosity towards the stylists that leave. Like, I don't have time for that. I don't have patience for that. Like, good riddance, good luck. Like I just don't dwell on those things. So as the owner, I try to keep it positive, flip the team that's still there and make sure that they're okay and make sure that they're, understand and are good. And I think that's the best way to handle it. I mean, you got to move on and keep building your business. And I think people get stuck on that so much, and then they just get resentful, and then they drag that resentment to the current team that's still there and to the clients that are still there. And then you end up imploding everything. So, just move on and do what you can to keep those people there as much as possible.
Yeah, I mean, I think just don't react emotionally. Chandra and I see this all over social media all the time in the salon owner groups that we're in. And you cannot react emotionally, and you've got to quit taking it personally. You have to. You've got to take a breath. You've got to get grounded before you respond to anyone or anything. Like, just stop. Stop for a second and think. I get it. It hurts. I understand. I get it. But it's also part of business, right? And what is going to matter the most is how you respond and what kind of message you send to your remaining team and to your clients. So you've got to really just think about it. I think it's really important, like Chandra said, to address it with your team and address it with your guest as quickly as possible. We always send something out. It's not this verbatim, but we wish them well. We have enjoyed being a part of their growth journey while they were here. And we've got an amazing, team here still to take care of you. Make sure that you're calm, you're confident. Do not feed into the drama. Don't. When you don't do that, that kind of leadership is going to build long-term trust. I promise you, with your other employees and with your clients. It's going to show your team that you have a strong business. You believe in what you're doing, no matter who stays or who goes. And I think that's really, really important. Chandra, what do you think is the most important move a salon owner can make in that first week after somebody walks out?
I think handling the team that's still there is probably one of the most important, making sure that everybody else is good, making sure that they understand, where you're still going. And the same thing, like, yeah, I wish them well, good luck to them. We're still going to be doing what we're doing over here and making sure they're good. Cause I feel like that's one of the first things that gets shaken up when something like that happens, is your team, and they start wondering things maybe that aren't true, or they start thinking things maybe that, the people who left might have planted in their head, or even if they just left on their own on good terms, it's still going to shake up your team a little bit. And so I think really that would be my first course of action, is really, making sure the team is good before anything else.
Yeah, I definitely would agree with that 100%. And then I would also say get that guest journey, like you said, in order immediately. Whatever it is, make sure that it is solid and stellar. Anytime that I have an employee leave, I don't care if I go through my guest journey every single time. I go through it again just to make sure, because I want to be sure that it is top notch, doing everything perfectly, so that when those clients come back, because we usually get most of ours back as well, they are getting treated like VIP, like royalty, and they remember why they miss us, right? Very, very important. All right, guys, whether you're still working on filling your chairs or you are already full, but you're just stretched thin, you're kind of at that cap to where you can't make any more money because people come and go as they please and people call in and do all of this. This is the system that is going to give you breathing room and put money back into your pocket. It may take some coaching to roll it out. I understand that, especially if your team is used to having their own chair, their own schedule, their own station. But that's your job as the leader of your business, not just to announce the change, but to actually coach, lead, and guide them through it. When you show your team the win, they are going to understand the value. Morning shift, evening shift, it gives your team the structure they can plan around, and it gives you the floor coverage that your business needs so that it can run at full capacity. That, my friends, is what the Salon Shuffle is all about. Full day coverage, fewer gaps, more revenue, less chaos. If you want support in implementing it, or you are ready to lead like the CEO your business actually needs, head over to www.thebeautybizagency.com. You can check out our coaching options, grab some of our free resources while you're there. We have some amazing ones. And if this episode got you thinking differently, maybe about how your schedule is set up, share it with another owner who needs to hear it. Make sure you guys are subscribed so you don't miss future episodes, and drop us a quick review. That helps us reach more beauty pros who are ready to lead with clarity, structure, and serious profit. Chandra, how can our listeners stay connected with us and keep up to date with everything we've got going on at the Beauty Biz Agency?
Definitely check us out and follow us on social media, on Instagram at Beauty Biz Agency and Facebook, or you can reach out to us on TikTok at the Beauty Biz Mentors. And you can check us out on the first Monday of every month at 6 p.m. Central Time, live on Facebook. We'd love to hear from you there too. We'll answer your questions on the air, and it's just a really good time to connect with other owners and get some good info and some inspiration. So definitely reach out to us and let us know if you have any questions you'd like us to address.
Awesome. You've been listening to The Station, the podcast where salon owners stop surviving and start leading like real CEOs. Until next time, stay focused, stay fierce, and don't let one off week make you forget what you're capable of. Now go out there, make bank, run the show, and ditch that chair. And as always, keep slaying those business goals with a whole lot of swagger.